Let's talk about some of the awesome books that I read in Feb. This was an amazing month, full of bangers. Well, a couple of them were kind of okay, but most of them were absolutely phenomenal books and are going to stay with me for my entire life. They are God tier books. Absolutely beautifully written books, and I can't wait to share them with you. So I'm going to start with the books that were on my Feb TBR and see how many of them we actually made it through, and then also talk about the extra ones that I read that were not even on my TBR. So let's start with the first one, and that was Legend Born by Tracy Deonn. Wow, this book absolutely blew my mind. An Arthurian YA fantasy that is so beautifully written. The characters are intriguing and layered and amazingly written. The magic system is extremely unique and not something that I have read about until now. And the world building is phenomenal. I think this might be the first fantasy that I have read that actually has real world examples in it, and it was mind-blowing. It is based on the 16-year-old girl, Bree, who goes to early college at UNC in North Carolina. And there are so many things that the author talks about UNC and about these amazing legends and secret societies that I actually want to go to UNC and find out if that actually exists. I know it is a fantasy, but it is so beautifully written. If you love secret societies, if you love a great world building and magic system, and if you love Arthurian fantasies, which how many books are there on Arthurian fantasies anyways? I have not read any, so this was my first one. Oh my gosh, amazing. This is the book for you. You have to pick this one up. So this is the first book in, I think it's a 3-book series, might be a 4-book series, I'm not sure. But this is the first book in the series. Second book is Bloodmarked, which was my second book for my Feb TBR. And whew, I thought the first book was amazing. The second book is absolutely phenomenal. I think the second one is a little bit, maybe a tiny bit better than the first book. And that's hard to say because the first book was so amazing. Both of these books are 5-star books for me. They are amazing, and I am so looking forward to the next book, that is Oathbound, that is coming up in a week, I think now, less than a week. So I'm super excited. I have already pre-ordered it and I can't wait to read that one. I think the first book ends up on a much bigger cliffhanger than the second book has ended. Although the second book has also ended on kind of a cliffhanger. I'm really excited to read what happens in the next one. But the first book, the way the first book ends, it just blew my mind. Oh my gosh, the way the book ends, the way she has written it, fantastic. I would highly recommend this book. Beautifully written fantasy. The next book that I read was Metal Slinger by Rachel Snyder. And okay, I have so many mixed reviews about this book because I love this story. I absolutely love the story. It starts with a bang. You just are into the story. It keeps you going. But there are so many problems with how I feel like this was written, especially as we get towards the end. The end, the cliffhanger, I tell you, what a cliffhanger. So there were a lot of things that I found problematic with the story. One was how it was written. The whole story is from Bryn's point of view. And then the plot twist is supposed to be her own plot twist that somehow we didn't know, even though we've been in her head the whole time. I think that was the most problematic piece of all. Because if the plot twist was supposed to be hers, then maybe she should have had amnesia and that's why we didn't know. It can't be that she has known this whole time, the whole entire book she's known it, and we've not been aware of it. No, that was too frustrating. That was the one part I didn't like. And the second part was the MMC had, as much as I liked the MMC had a lot of red flags. And I don't know if authors are on purpose trying to write Tamlins for us and are then deceiving us into liking somebody else. Please stop doing that. I mean, just stop. Don't do this on purpose. Stop playing with our emotions like this, because it doesn't make a lot of sense. Then why is she falling for him in the first place, this supposedly really smart FMC? Don't make her fall for the bad guy. Yeah, it was very frustrating. And then towards the end too, something that he does to her after talking big game throughout the whole book, it was such a big red flag. Yeah, I don't know if I can support him in the next book. So I don't know. This is going to be a hard one. But I feel like if it was not for these few things that ended up having me giving it 3 stars, this could have been easily an amazing book because the world building was so cool. Although, I mean, why weren't we focused a lot more on this world that she had built, that apparently were these nomads that were just living in water? Why? Why don't we know more about them? That is so cool. That kind of world building would have been so amazing. I would have loved to know more information about it. And we kind of just glossed over all of that. And then we started talking more about land rather than this whole civilization that is just based on water? What? Yeah, I really wanted to like this one and just didn't. And next one was Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. And this might be my least liked Ali Hazelwood book. I loved both the main characters. I just did not like that on 80% of the book, even though they had such an amazing and beautiful story, we were just focused on the kink part of it, which I think was absolutely unnecessary to the book. It did not need to be part of this book, was not intricately needed to be part of these characters. I didn't think it made sense at all. Their main story was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. These absolutely A-list athletes, Olympians that are competing at that level, and their story and their struggles, what they go through as they're in college. Oh my gosh, what an amazing storyline. And the characters are so beautifully written. But it was so focused on just the kink aspect of it that it just took away the story for me. And the only reason why I actually didn't DNF the book and actually finished it was because I wanted to know how it goes. And I'm glad I did that, because the last 20% was the best part of the book for me, and that didn't have any of that kink in it and any of the focus of the story on that subject. It was not even that it was too spicy or less spicy or any of the issues that we're hearing online about the book. None of it. It was just unnecessary to the storyline. Didn't need to be part of it at all. And I love it if it is well written. I would read it, but I just think it was not necessary in this book, and I didn't enjoy it at all. I only am giving it 2 stars for the last 20% of the book, which was my usual typical Ali Hazelwood kind of book, which talks about these intricate characters and their beautiful love story. And yeah, that's what I wanted. And I wished that the remaining 80% of the book also had that. I was really sad after reading this book because I was very disappointed. But maybe it works for you, because it did work for a lot of other people. So maybe it does work for you and you can try that. The next one that I read was Dream Girl Drama by Tessa Bailey. I love this book. I like the characters. And this was a surprising book for me because I don't like Insta Lust kind of books. I don't like it when they fall for each other in the first 10% of the book, first 5% of the book, and then it's done. I like a very slow burn romance. I love that angst. And in this book, after they fall for each other in the first part of the book, it was like insta-lust for them. It's just a slow burn for the rest of the book. And that's what I absolutely loved. I love the MMC Sig. He is one of my favorite kind of MMCs, the big brooding guy who will do anything for his girl. And Chloe, on the other hand, I was not a huge fan of. In the beginning, I was like, what is wrong with you, girl? You can't just leave with this random stranger. You don't know him well enough. And I was worried about her, to be honest. It was like, please, there are so many red flags. You can't just get up and leave with a stranger you don't know and leave this. Yeah, I understand you're upset with your mom and she's controlling you, but yeah, still you can't just get up and leave with random strangers. So I was very worried about her. Also, how she is not even thinking about how he's paying for all her stuff and keeping her in a hotel. And like all of it is just like not worried about it at all. Like where all her money is coming from. But I liked how she grew in the character, in the book. It was beautifully written. We see that growth in her from where she starts to the end of the book, where she becomes this independent, strong FMC who is fighting for what she wants. And I loved her at the end of the book. It was fantastic. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a book I finished in less than 12 hours. So I would definitely recommend this book. It was a 4.5-star book for me, and I would definitely recommend that. But this month has been hard with like giving star ratings because I've had some huge bangers and it's been difficult to give rating for some of the other books. I think we're not talking about this book enough. And this was Blood Over Brighthaven by Emil Wong. Woo. What? This book is mind-altering and mind-blowing book. The way Emil Wong writes is just phenomenal. Phenomenal. The way she makes you think about all these different layers of issues and everything, and still makes you hate and love and root for these characters. Wow. I will be very honest. This was a 5-star read for me. And the only reason it's not a God tier book for me is because I feel too sad thinking about it. And it just hurts me every time I'm thinking about it. And it is that beautifully written. It is just, I think this might be the first book that might be a 5-star book for me where I genuinely did not like the FMC. I did not like her at all. Even though I want to root for her and I want to cheer for her in the beginning. It's about this mage who is going into this magic school for the first time and how she's fighting years of misogyny to be able to get into this school. And that's what we think the book starts with. But the magic system, oh my gosh, the magic system in this book is so unique and phenomenal. It's like anything that you would think about for the magic system is going to be wrong. Also, if you don't want yourself to be ripped up to shreds during reading this book and after reading this book, don't pick this up. You need to be in a better headspace when you pick this up. If I was feeling sad, not the book for you. Do not pick this up. This is going to really rip you up. And this book is going to really destroy you. It's that beautifully written and you will feel all the emotions that strongly. I began with the prologue of the book and I was sobbing just reading through the prologue. It was, oh my God, it was so hard to read. It was horrible. It was horrible and And once you realize how their world is built and on what this world is built and what the magic system is working on, it's, oh my gosh. Thinking about it makes me want to cry. It was hard. I think as readers, we are the only strange people who will call a book that made us cry as like a 5-star reading. Oh, it was so beautiful though. I would highly recommend it. Amazingly written. But read it when you're in a better headspace. Definitely would say that. On to a little bit happier time is my next book, Throne of the Fallen by Kerry Maniscalco. I did not go in with a lot of expectations on this book. And honestly, after coming out from Blood Over Brighthaven, it was hard. I was just heartbroken. And I wanted to read something that was not as heavy and was a little lighter. And so I picked up this book. I wouldn't say it was lighter, but it was definitely very entertaining. The characters are fun. It's mostly a dark fantasy of a Regency romance. So if you want to combine Bridgerton with the dark fantasy, put them together and bring them to the 7 circles of hell, this is the book for you. Very entertaining. I loved it. It was very cool. I loved that it is a standalone. That was another thing I loved with this book. I didn't have to read a lot of different books. I would say that this is her book after her Kingdom of the Wicked, I think, series, which is a YA series. Read that series first. I haven't read it yet, but there are a lot of references to that series, which I wanted to go back and read that series. So that is going to be on my TBR in the upcoming months because I thought those characters were so interesting. I want to know more about them. And if you start with this book, this might have some of the spoilers, so might help to read that one. But this was a 4-star read for me. Very entertaining. Not so much for, oh my gosh, I am still crying over the book. This is how difficult Blood Over Brighthaven was for me. Oh. It's rough. I think the Throne of the Fallen was the perfect kind of palate cleanser, kind of a book for me because it brought me out of the doldrums that I was in after reading Blood Over Brighthaven. And I loved the main 2 characters. I loved Envy's character so much. If you like a morally gray, dark MMC who is very sexy, this is the book for you. You would want to pick this one up. It was very entertaining and I liked how well he was written. And also the FMC, the storyline was very cool. They don't trust each other. There are a lot of mysteries associated with each other. The only reason why it was probably not a higher rating for me was because I felt like I was just pushed into this world. I wanted a little bit more world building onto what the game was going on. It was almost written as if we were expected to know that there was some kind of a game that he was playing all the time. But we didn't, and that was the only part that I would say I would have liked a little bit better. But other than that, I really enjoyed the book. The next book, which was one of the best romances I have read probably in this decade, definitely this past year. And this is hard to say because Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez was also got-tier book for me, and it was amazing and I loved it. And this book felt just like that to me, and that was 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. It was phenomenal story. I finished the book and I wanted to restart it once again. That tells me that that is a god-tier book for me because it just lives in me rent-free. I want to read more about them. I want to know more about them. Only thing I would say to the author is please give us more. Please, I want to know more about both of them. Give us some bonus chapters. Oh, they are so amazing. If you like second chance romances with a slow burn and lots of angst and tension between the characters, this is the book for you. It is so beautifully written about these two characters who meet after, I think, 15 or 20 years. And they used to be high school sweethearts and have not seen each other. And as we come to know more about these characters, we realize that they have always been in love with each other. And they have always been there to support each other. Oh my gosh! It was amazing. Oh, I was swooning throughout the book. If you like a book that makes your heart sing, where the MMC especially is too gone for her and he's always loved her, and oh my gosh, this is the book for you. He is so beautifully written. I love both these two characters. And not that this is a very light and fluffy book, because there are very deep issues with the characters. Please read the trigger warnings for this book, because there are a lot of difficult issues that the author talks about that these characters go through, and because of their background and because of their upbringing. And it's not just light and fluffy, but the feeling you get at the end of the book is just joy and just this beautiful romance between the MMC and the FMC. I love Shane so much. I love him. He might be one of my favorite MMCs of all time, because the way he loves Ava is just so beautiful, amazing. And the way he looks at her, the way he thinks about her, the way he talks about her, I love it so much. And I also love the fact that he tries to work on himself first before he comes to her, and he doesn't come to her to help him fix himself, which is amazing. And that's exactly the kind of MMCs we should be putting out there, rather than these toxic MMCs who the girls think that they want to fix. This is beautiful. What an amazing story, and what beautiful, intricate, and deeply developed characters. Oh, they are going to have a place in my heart forever. 6-star, God-tier book for me. This book also talks about 3 very big themes, and one is chronic illness and how people are living with it. And second is generational trauma and how it affects families coming from a parent to child. And third is addiction and recovery from it. And Shane's sobriety journey has been written with so much nuance and so beautifully. It reminds me of the happy feeling. I don't know if you've seen the show This Is Us. And This Is Us is a show where I sob through every episode. But at the end of every episode, my heart is full and I feel happy. And this book felt like that. It deals with difficult subjects, but at the end of it, you will come out feeling giggly and happy and just being in such a good space. So yeah, what a book to end this month on. Amazing. I would highly recommend this book. I don't know why it's not talked about enough. Beautiful, beautiful book. Wow, what a banger to end the month on. If you have read any amazing books this month, please comment down below and let me know. And also, if you want to know what are the other viral books that I read last month and what I rated them, check out this video right here.